So what's it like owning a 1996 Corvette? Well, this one here is the 6-speed version, so that means it's got the LT4. Now, I'm not going to pat myself on the back telling everybody how rare my car is, because quite frankly, as it's driving down the road, people see a red C4. There's about 1 billion of them on the planet. That being said, it is what it is. But anyway, I bought the car because of the motor and, well, frankly, because all else be darned, I wanted a red Corvette, and I wanted a tan interior because it kind of, gives me that Ferrari mystique. I always wanted one when I was little, and now I've got one. And the chrome wheels, I wasn't really too partial about the chrome wheels. It really wasn't, I wanted the A molds or like ZR1 wheels, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, they've grown on me. Okay. This here is the first picture I saw of my car before I bought it. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of give you guys an overview of everything that's gone on with the car since I bought the car. When I got the car, I was out in California for work, and I wanted a California car. And I didn't buy this car from California, but my adventure going out to California, this car made the same trip in reverse. So, I mean, the stars aligned. This car was meant to be. So, all that being said, the car has a story, and one day I'll sit down with you guys and I'll tell you. But anyway, I ended up getting it from a guy in Michigan, and he's actually on the Corvette forum, and I haven't reached out to him. But anyway, the car came to me. This is before I actually saw the car. This was in my mom's driveway, and my oldest son and my stepdad went to go get this car for me while I was in California. And there's my son right there, first person to drive it besides my mom's boyfriend or my stepdad. He kind of snuck a drive in, which I didn't mind. I just, it is what it is. What a dorky little kid. So anyway, as we go through this, we're going to see what we had going on here. The first thing I replaced was this little vent here. I couldn't find one with the texture.
Right, there's one.
But you know what? It
right,
looks right, so there it is. It is what it is.
Buddy.
It does its job.
Right.
The next thing I did was I replaced the front 2 tires. When I bought the car, the rear tires were 2019s, and the date code for the front tires was on the inside, and the guy couldn't find them. No big deal. It is what it is. And they ended up being 20-year-old tires. So I replaced them. Nito NT555s. I ended up replacing the windshield because I got a rock chip, and it ended up becoming a giant crack. Here is me replacing the valve cover gaskets and grommets, and I'll tell you, this was that's my middle son there doing some of the work there, putting the car back together. This is a really cool car because I've been able to get my kids involved in working on it, and the sucker drives out great. I had some issues drivability wise at the very beginning because of the old tires, and I shouldn't have, but I wanted to drive the car, and I just did take the chance, and it is what it is. So I drove a little bit. I didn't go more than 3 or 4 blocks with the car when I was driving around. That being said, as soon as I got the new front tires on the car, I was driving everywhere. Here I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I took the car down to the Corvette plant. I did actually see, I did actually replace the seals, all the weather stripping, and I replaced the anti-tilt brackets for the windows, the side glass. I do have to mess with the glass because the glass has scraping because the exterior weather stripping is worn out. But anyway, that being said, the car drives fantastic. I did notice a little bit of creep in the rear end, but that was because of worn out bushings. And I waited until until later on in the year to, right now the car's torn apart completely. The suspension's completely off the car because I'm replacing all of the bushings. But that being said, this thing drives all over the place, no problem. It doesn't give me any fuss or fight or anything, bad about it. When it was approaching 100,000 miles, I did decide that, you know what, I know around 100,000 miles, people complain about the water pump going out, and that usually takes out the OptiSpark. So, in the abundance of caution, I took and replaced the water pump. Okay, and here's me replacing. This is what I was talking about, the anti-tilt brackets or whatever you call them. But anyway, I replaced the water pump. It had been a replaced water pump already, and you know what? Guess what? That sucker was already leaking, so it was good thing I replaced it. But anyway, I ended up taking the car to Bloomington Gold 2022. This is a fantastic opportunity for any Corvette owner. If you go to Bloomington Gold, it's gonna be a fun environment. It's gonna be really nice. The first day that we went, it was raining, kind of sucked, but it is what it is. My wife and I enjoyed the time. But the cool thing is, when I was here, somebody that I was talking to had a clear top. Now, this car was originally spec'd out with 2 tops, and it had the bronze top. I did not get the bronze top when I bought the car. I knew it wasn't with the car. Also, I got the original brochure, and I got the cassette tape, which I hadn't seen until I got home. I do have a VHS player, but anyway, even though you see the sea of red Corvettes, mine didn't look anything like. Well, it did look similar to some of them, but mine still had its own unique flair to it, I guess. But anyway, as far as changing parts, the engine and everything was fantastic. It was easy to work on. It was easy to get everything messed around with things. I took the time to flush the coolant and flush the coolant system. Everything did exactly what it was supposed to do. And, I change all my own oil on it. I do all my own service. I'm not really too impressed with the Chevy dealers around here, so it is what it is. Right here, we've got a picture of the car with the new bronze top on it. That's it's nice. I really like it. It's fantastic. I love it. Anyway, the car, I mean, I'm not scared to get into this car and drive it anywhere. Here's another picture with the red body color top on it. The car is fantastic. I just love this car. Here it is next to one of my RX-7s. I just love it. Another thing I had to do to it is the AC compressor clutch went out, so I had to rebuild the compressor, and then I had to get a new clutch and coil for, obviously, the compressor. That sucked. But it is what it is. And then I had to recharge everything. Anyway, the dog bones here, the rear control arms, the drag links, a lot of people call them different things depending on what kind of make you've got. Replaced the bushings in them earlier this year, and then I've been slowly working on everything else. But anyway, the car is very photogenic. That's another thing I really like about the car. Compared to other cars that I've owned, believe it or not, my RX-7 gets more attention than my Corvette. Here, I do have another YouTube channel that I did a review video for these smoke bombs. They didn't, that's, but anyway, that's what those pictures are from. This video here is from Corvette or Vets on the River 2022 in LeClaire, Iowa. If you're around, I mean, there was hundreds of Corvettes. Fantastic show. That was great. I replaced all the weather stripping. Obviously, we've got, once I had to replace the windshield, I had to replace all the weather stripping because then it gives me a reason to spend more money. everywhere I go, this car takes great pictures. You know, and here's me during the smoke bomb review. If you look up my other channel, you know, if you're that curious, you'll be able to find it. But anyway, that being said, fantastic car. This car loves having pictures taken of it. And right here, I just drive through the smoke and the way it drags the smoke, and it's just showing off the aerodynamics. This car is the car that you want to have. I mean, this is my generation's Ferrari. You know, I mean, this is not my generation's Ferrari. You know, it's the poor man's Ferrari, basically. And, you know, realistically speaking, it's not going to cost you a ton of money. You know, I really appreciated that. You know, for the cost of getting into this car, I am money ahead. And, you know, when I'm talking about, here's a picture that I found on my Facebook 6 years ago I was looking at. This in here was actually the first California car that I was looking at. Funny enough, that one is 50, serial number is 50 off of what mine is, and it was spec'd out exactly the same except for the sport seats. I almost bought that car. I was going to buy it on Halloween, and that ended up not happening. I was super bummed. And they were actually sold at the same dealership, which is funny. But anyway, that's about it for the video. As far as the car is concerned, I really love the car. I can't express how much this car means to me. I mean, I'm not in love with the car or anything, but as far as all the things that I still need to do with it, I need to finish my paint correction. Although in the sunlight you can't tell. I need to figure out what I want to do for the interior, because I don't like the seat covers, but I do. But Corvette Central has replacement leather seat covers that are similar, but I wouldn't have. I mean, it'd be just basically replacing the foam and the seat. So, you know, it you know, just make the seats look exactly like they do now, just make them look proper. You know, the one thing that I like about this car is that people aren't afraid to approach me, whereas with my RX-7, people are confused as to what the car is. You know, they think it's a Datsun or, you know, whatever, and they don't want to talk to me because, unless they're a gearhead, then they'll come talk to me, and then I can't get away from them. But as far as the Corvette's concerned, so many people will, even if they have the same exact car, they will come up to you like that you're their best friend, and you've had 10 years of history with them, and you know, it's a very interesting experience. There's a lot of communities of hobby communities that I'm in, and I can say that the Corvette community in a whole sense is far nicer, far more polite, although the local Corvette club around here is not. I would not consider them as polite as, kind of snooty. But for the general sense, that is the exception, not the rule. You know, and I don't know. It just is what it is. I find a lot of joy in owning this car. You know, I can get in it. You know, I can take my wife out to eat, or I can take the kids out, you know, and drive around with the top off, and I mean, each time I drive the car, it's a different experience, and the car drives exactly how I want it to drive, and it doesn't fight me. It doesn't want to, you know, beat me up. It's like my RX-7. It's a little bit more aggressive. It's gonna beat you up, and it's gonna drive you nuts, and you're gonna get out of it smelling like 2-cycle engine mix. You know, it's you know, it's a rougher experience, and this Corvette is just a far more laid back, touring experience that, you know, let's go across the country. The air conditioning works. You know, it's that kind of a ride. Anyway, getting a little longer than I thought I was going to be, which is fine. But I don't know. So I got a Corvette, and that's my experience. I love the car, and as long as it's not beat up, and as long as it's not messed up too bad, you know, where you're chasing all sorts of problems, as long as it's not like that, you're going to enjoy the car. Because I'd much rather have a car where what I'm doing right now, I'm chasing all the pre-problems. I'm not necessarily restoring the car. I'm replacing worn items before they wear out. As long as you're getting a car that's on that cycle of its life, it's going to be more enjoyable. And this is a fantastic experience for me. And I don't like rust on cars. I don't like cars that are beat up. You know, I don't like cars that are, you know, just rough around the edges. I like cars that I can enjoy. And this one here is, out of all the cars I've owned, I've only owned three types of cars. This one, my RX-7, and you know, I had an old Hyundai when I was growing up. Those were the only three cars that I really, really, really enjoyed, and they bring out my inner spirit animal. You know, it makes me feel like I'm going more places than I actually am at that given time. You know, I mean, if I'm going anywhere in this car, I feel like it's a big event for me. And even though the whole world looks at this car in different ways, many people dismiss them. Oh, it's not a C8. It doesn't, you know, I don't care. I'm probably never going to buy a C8 because, to me, I mean, they are interesting to me. I like them, but they are not of interest to me. Does that make sense? You know, if you own a C8, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not trying to tell you you got a crappy car. What I'm saying is, this interests me. So I got a Corvette. What about you? Tell me about your experience in the comment section below. If you like this video, please leave a comment, subscribe, and share one of the videos that you have seen on my channel, or a video, or share my channel with your buddies, and let me know. Let me know what you think. You know, I want to hear your stories, whether they be, you know, if you think they're stupid or not. I want to hear your experience with your car. Does your car cheer you up as much as mine does? Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.